I'm Olivia and my back hurts. I This channel was originally going to be a travel channel, but it's hot and it's peoply outside, and I like people. I work with people. I mean, not just like as workers. I have a public facing job. In fact, if you see this channel and if you're seeing this video and it shows up on your recommended, maybe because you live in San Antonio and I'm in San Antonio, we'll see. Maybe because I'm talking about books and you like books. But if it turns up in your recommended and you say, hey, isn't that real name? Yeah, it's me. Hi. But I like people, but I don't like filming strangers. I'm very uncomfortable with that. So I was like walking around going, trying to like not get other people in the film. I did this really, I love the, uh, um, I love Breckenridge Park, which is one of the big parks in the city. Somebody was writing an article once, I'll need to see if I can find it, where they complained about the fact that this is beautiful gem of a park in the city and it hasn't turned into something like Central Park yet. And they were like, is that intentional? Is it just, because, it should have like people and should be like, all these like amenities. That's what I'm looking for. All these amenities, and they should have like, big high-rise apartments like they would in New York, or even like low-rise apartments. And it's just kind of and if you don't know where it is, you're probably gonna miss it because it's not really on a main thoroughfare or anything. It's like, but it's a beautiful park, and I'll be doing some filming there once it gets cooler. It is August 17th as I'm filming this, but again, too peoply. I don't want to. I was filming in the Japanese tea garden, and I went there early in the morning in hopes that nobody would be there yet, and there were people, and I was like, look at this plant, isn't this pretty? Look at those koi, aren't those pretty? Oh my god, there's a person, we gotta go this way. So I just, so today, right now we are doing books. This was going to be a review channel. It's hard for me to review stuff. I've talked about this in my first video for this channel, but I'm not, I'm going to talk about all this stuff in the first few videos so that people will get caught up. So if you've seen this before, sorry, we'll get to the book eventually. My kid Alex is my technical supervisor and laid out good lighting plan for this room for what will eventually be my other channel, which is going to be a stitching channel. That's going to be basically, I'm hoping, sewing. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I was very inspired by Makara Tours, who just kind of puts a piece of fabric on the floor, cuts it out, puts it in her sewing machine, ends up with like this gorgeous garment. Now, I'm half her height and twice her weight, so nothing's gonna look on me like it's gonna look on her. Okay, I just want to put that right out there. But okay, maybe not half her height and twice weight, but I'm probably about the same. I'm about the same weight, but I think I'm about like 7 inches shorter. 8 inches? 8 inches shorter. So yeah, things are not going to look on me like they look on her. But that's my dream. My dream is to be able to go, oh, I want to make a shirt that looks like this, and be able to just make a shirt that looks like that. And so I have to learn all over again, which is a whole process. Not sure where I'm going to. Alex and I need to sit down and figure out how I'm going to lay out the fabric. We need to figure out what I'm going to do with my dog. Neil is sitting on the floor here right now, lying on the floor. She's very calm. It's very nice. Oh, now she's got an itch. But she will bark. I've actually brought her in here because when I was setting up the light, she was barking. And I'm like, dude, I didn't want people to think I was neglecting her. So I brought her in here. So, so there's going to be this sewing channel eventually, but I need something to get me in the vibe of filming and posting and, building up an audience and things. It's going to be 2 different channels. This channel is Olivia Recommends. Originally, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a travel channel and review channel and kind of thing, but it's hard for me to really do reviews as such, because reviews to me sound like, the bad parts as well as the good, and I wanted more just the good parts. It's hard. I'm neurologically the kind of person who sees what's going on, and so I don't really realize I'm reading until I don't like something, and then I'm like, okay. And so I end up focusing on the things I didn't like rather than things I did. So we're going to talk about recommendations. These are nearly every book here is something I'm going to talk about eventually, because recommendations. If I didn't like the book, I wouldn't have the book anymore. So we're going to, the books are mostly alphabetical by author, except for these, which are my Riordan, like, mythology books. I've got Random up there in its own little world. Nancy Drew in its own little world. Nowhere Bookshop's Fantastic Strange Things Book Club. Shout out Fantastic Strange Things Book Club. Shout out Nowhere Bookshop. Those recommendations will be coming along. Are here. Um, the Rick Riordan Presents books over here. All of my Avatar: The Last Airbender, like those little continuation comics, are over here. And then everything I've read since I set up all of this are here, except for that bottom corner, which is Harry Potter. Not sure what I'm going to end up doing with that. So that's basically the layout of the room. That's basically the layout of the channel. Let's talk about the book. The book today is Turn Right at Machu Picchu by Mark Adams. It is kind of white guy centric, but that's the book. The book is about a white guy following the steps of a white guy. The white guy in question is Hiram Bingham III, who was the first white guy to visit Machu Picchu. There were people living there at the time, they just weren't white. So it wasn't really discovered. So, but Adams worked for a adventure travel magazine, but he wasn't really an adventure travel kind of guy. His wife was Peruvian, might still be Peruvian, but at the time of writing the book, she was. And he would go visit his in-laws and things like that. And eventually he decided, hey, why don't I go follow Hiram Bingham III's journey to Machu Picchu myself, rather than doing it the tourist way? And so he hired a tour guide, and the guide had, people to carry the packs and a cook and all these other people, and they all bundled up their llamas and went to Machu Picchu, and this is the story. It's a fish out of water sort of book. It's also really funny in a lot of places. It's got some photos in here, some which are public, are not copyrighted, so I'm not going to really show them to you, unfortunately. But it's got a little section of photos, and it's really laugh out loud funny in some places. I love it. It's really good. I loaned it to a friend who never got around to reading it. I'm like, you got to read this book. It's so good. So you got to read this book. It's so good. And like I said, it's kind of white guy centric. So if you know of a book about Peru that you can recommend that isn't so white guy centric, I'd be happy to read it. Even if it's not in English, I'm probably okay. I speak a little Spanish. I also speak a little German, Chinese, Italian. I can say hello in Vietnamese if I'm feeling brave, and I'm trying to learn Hawaiian because I loved Hawaii. That's actually where I bought this book. My Alex wanted to go to Hawaii, and with the Mayan calendar thing about where they're like, maybe the world's going to end because there's no, the calendar stops in 2012. Alex is like, the world's probably not going to end, but let's go to Hawaii because that's one thing I want to do before I die. So we went to Hawaii. There was a cat bookstore, and we had cats at the time. I do not have any cats right now. I just have Mila. She's a dog, and she's not a fan of cats. She's not a fan of other dogs. She's not really a fan of most other people. We're working on it. She's going to be 5 next month, so I'm not sure how much working on it we can accomplish, but we go places and meet people, and she's on a sedative when we go out. So I speak Spanish, so if you know of a book that actually was my dream for a while, was to translate kids' books out of Spanish into English, and maybe I will do that someday. We'll see how that goes. But right now, I'm doing book recommendations. I will do other recommendations down the line. I'm going to recommend parks. This is a little subliminal recommendation for San Antonio Missions National Historical Park. It's nice, it's hot, it's historical. It talks about the fact that they talk about the fact that the Spaniards wanted to make the Native Americans of Texas into Spanish citizens, and this was not too long after all the, like a couple hundred years after all the Inquisition and the ouster of the Moors and everything, and you had to be Catholic in order to be Spanish, and so they had to build missions, and there's a little bit of they weren't so strict about not practicing the native religion. They're telling us now there's actually one of the missions, if you go and look under the at the door, the keystone of the door, there's actually a little carving underneath it. The story is that's one of the Native Americans' gods. I don't know whether that's true, but that's the story. There's also one of the rooms has a I think these are both at Concepcion. I'll be recommending those also individually. There's like a sun on the ceiling. That's apparently one of their gods as well. The monks were like, yeah, you can still have your own religion, but you also have to be Catholic. So that's the story. But it was, but they talk about that there, and there's, talks about daily life. There's like I think it's a reconstruction of the mill that used to grind the flour for the mission. There's, there's a little place at, was it San Juan? Yes. There's like an area that's like how the gardens used to be laid out and stuff like that at Mission San Juan. It's really interesting. So, how did I get on this? Anyway, so I guess because of the t-shirt. So I'll be going out there and doing that, trying not to get too many strangers in my shots. Maybe I'll go, well, it's too hot to go out there. I don't know. Probably not. That's why I'm doing this. So, Turn Around Machu Picchu, good book, funny, recommend. Like I said, you have a Peruvian book that you want, a book about Peru that's about Peruvian people that you want to recommend, I'd be happy to hear it. I would like to make some money off this because I'm going to have to work until I'm dead. I will not have enough money to retire on. So I would like to make some money off this. So if you'd like to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you don't want to do those things, you want to leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment about the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing. Someday I will know what I'm doing. I want to talk about the fact that my makeup looks terrible. Yeah, I also don't know what I'm doing there. So, but if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you want to recommend a book that you don't see back here or over here that you think should be on these shelves and you want to recommend it, I would love to hear it. I read a lot of YA books, a lot of historical fiction, a lot of YA historical fiction. Not so into the sexy time stuff, not so spicy. Damn it. I may have to edit that word out. Not so much with the spicy, but, as you'll discover, not so much with the spicy. But if you do have recommendations, yes. Thrillers, mystery, supernatural. I read a lot of different stuff in a lot of different genres. Or if one of you is out there and you're Peruvian and you'd like to write a book about the people living at Machu Picchu at the time that Hiram Bingham III got there, I wholeheartedly support you, and I would love to read it for my channel, or even just read it. So I think that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Have a nice, did I say have a nice day? Yeah, I think I did. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.